Welcome back, everybody.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Keith. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Rupert, how are you?
I'm great. How
and
are you?
Our in-studio guest this week is a surprise guest, and his name is Steve Brandt. Say hello, Steve Brandt.
Hello, everyone.
The other Steve in our family. So you are the second Steve on the O'Connell side to be on the show.
I'm the best Steve.
You are. You're the older one.
That's right.
Yeah. Stephen from another mother, though, not the same mother. That would have been a little weird.
Thank God for that, right?
So we're back after a long summer off. It was really hard to get everybody in here.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, boating and golfing. Keithy, were you in here this summer?
I was here all summer, Danny.
Rupert, you weren't here.
I was here a couple times.
You were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was I here when you were here?
Nope.
Oh, so you're blaming me? All right, maybe I wasn't here that much this summer. But I had dinner with Doris and Marnie, and they were begging for the podcast. They wanted to hear Rupert's voice. So
We need them back.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been on the podcast. I was trying to figure it out. He's got to be the fifth or sixth cousin that's been on the podcast. Marnie, Doris, because she's she's my sister, but she's a cousin as it relates to the O'Connells. Shannon Dwyer,
Yes.
Steve-O, Michael Najarian. Anybody else?
Manning.
But
Manning's brother.
he's second. Are we counting him sleep?
Well, it's not that first level. Right?
Yeah, first level,
Yeah.
first cousins.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying first cousins.
Yeah, first
Manning
cousin.
Manning and Connor would be second cousins.
Mm.
Michael Najarian's a cousin on the other side of the family, so we don't really count him. I don't really know how we.
Hey, that counts.
He counts.
Yeah, sure.
All right. And by the way, this whole podcast is based on a nickname, right? Nudge. Everybody needs a nudge. Root Bear has a nickname. Keithy, you don't really have a nickname. KC,
Sure. I don't know if I have a nickname.
Keithy.
but
There's a good one.
Steve has a nickname.
I do.
I just heard it.
Sleepy.
Sleepy.
Yeah. You want to get into that real quick? Like, just knock that one right out of the park? Where'd that come from?
It's pretty easy to tell, Just look at the eyes, right?
Yes. I
So
thought it was because he
sleepy
used to
eyes.
always fall asleep driving. That's what I was told.
That was given to me in high school, actually.
The nickname was.
The nickname.
Yeah.
I was
Is it
right from Quincy. I was at BC High.
Is it sleepy or sleeps?
Sleepy.
Okay.
But
Sleep.
people will say sleeps. They'll say sleepster. They'll, make all sorts of different
Okay.
derivatives out of it.
Yeah. So he fits right in. Got a great nickname, Sleepy.
Sleepy.
Cousin Steve still calls me Sleepy. You
Yeah,
still
I
call
call
me
you Sleep.
Sleepy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the first thing I said when you walked in, and I wasn't even. I got it. I got it from Steve-O. That's how I got it.
Right.
Because the way that the life kind of unfolded was, you and Steve-O were buddies and hung and did a lot of drinking and partying and carousing, general carousing, and then you kind of grew up.
yeah.
and
then he latched onto you.
and then, I mean, that's one way to say it. I was going to say it a little nicer. We started hanging out, and actually, Steve-O ended up marrying Marlene's law school roommate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Emily and Marlene were
Yeah, the four of you guys were real close.
yeah. We hung. We did a lot of hanging.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Did you marry your sister's roommate?
I did.
you did.
Oh.
That's right. You did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, my sister's roommate married me.
Good.
Yeah.
Well said.
So I need a little advice here. I got a little situation. I need some advice. I got a car situation. So my truck has 80,000 miles on it. The rear differential is broken. I don't even know what that means, okay? But it's a big deal. We're not going to talk about how it happened other than the fact that my brother drove the car with a trailer on it from Duxbury to South Carolina.
Oh,
And when the
yeah.
car came back, it didn't work anymore. But we're not blaming Robbie.
No. Robbie
Okay.
didn't do anything.
Sleepy, just so the record is clear, we are not blaming Robbie.
Oh, you gave him a bad truck.
Well, that's his argument.
It was on recall.
I gave him a bad. In fairness to Robbie, he does feel terrible about it and has offered to make it right. But he definitely broke the truck, along with the chainsaw and the
Power washer.
power washer. So you kind of see it.
All in one?
No, but like over the course of everything he borrows from me, he breaks.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah. Anyway, it's
Yeah,
fine.
that's something real, historical there between the two of you.
Yeah, well, yeah. Stop taking my stuff, bro. But you can't say no. Like someone, your brother wants to borrow your stuff, or your
Right.
cousin, or anybody.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just return it in working order.
You're gonna have to have two of everything. And
Yeah.
Give him the old.
Give
one
him
when he
the
wants
old.
to borrow
Well,
something.
so now it's going to cost the cost to fix the car is $5,000. My thought is to just go out and buy a new car. It's got 80,000 miles on it. I'm afraid if I spend the $5,000, it's gonna something else is gonna break on it. What do I do?
How much do you like the truck?
I love the truck, but I'd get the same one. I'd get the exact same truck. What would you do? Quick. No, you can't really think.
You'd buy a new one.
Yeah, buy a new
Could
one.
do it.
Keithy,
Yeah, new one.
new one. Root beer.
Don't listen to me.
What would you do? Not. You'd fix it.
I'd keep it. Yeah.
You'd fix it and keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let it keep breaking
Yeah.
and throw more money at
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Don't look at my.
I already
car
ordered the
history.
truck. I just want everyone to know that I ordered the truck
Yeah.
this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. So how Sleepy? How old's your son?
Chris,
Yeah,
he'll be 21 October.
and Ian he's older.
Yeah, 35.
But and you've got young kids.
Yeah.
Do you know about this phenomenon, this 6'7" thing they got going on?
God, it's
Have you-
unbelievable. So it's morphed into there's 6'7" and there's 41.
Yeah, 6'7" is this.
And
41
is
is-
this.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it got me thinking. There's these kids are saying, you know, my kids are. I got a freshman, a junior, and a sophomore in college. So they on the younger side. Do we have any sayings like that as kids? Was it like stupid shit that we used to say all the time that you can remember? Because they go on, like I'll ask my son Hank a question. I'm like, hey Hank, what time's the school bus? And he'll go 6'7". 6'7". So like
it's incredible. It's taking over. Like I was handing out game shirts for the 2 or 3 teams I have, and on each team, everyone asked for 6'7"
Yeah.
for a number this year.
What does it mean?
What's
that's
it from?
It's so
He
it's-
might know.
It's there's a rap song that came out that referenced 6'7". I don't know the whole thing. Referenced 6'7". Then the NBA took that rap song and like they use it for certain clips of certain players that are playing. And I think LaBello Ball maybe had a clip. And it something happened, and so it took off after he saw the clip, and then 6'7". I don't even know. There is no meaning, none.
There's no
that was
meaning.
a great explanation.
There's no meaning.
Absolutely nailed it.
I actually, it was
Crisp.
perfect explanation of what that means.
No confusion now.
No, I nailed it.
But it got me thinking, like, what was this anything that you had when you were talking? When you were growing up? I'm going to move this.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything that you remember that used to say to your parents that got them going crazy? I don't have anything like
Nothing
this.
like that. No.
No.
Say to each other, you know, like, what's up? Or, 86 that.
Yeah,
86 that.
86. That's a good
Yeah,
one. You know
that's
what that
good
means? 86 that?
It's gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Put it away, get it out of here, that
Yeah.
type of thing.
That got
That's
86.
restaurant talk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You didn't know that?
I never worked in the service industry.
Obviously.
They never said that to me when I was ordering my meal.
When I was ordering my steak.
So I just think it's this whole, you got to look it up. There was a math teacher. There was a math teacher that had like a 5th grade class. Did you see this? She had a math test and every single answer was 6'7",
Oh, jeez.
67. So the kids were going crazy.
Wow.
And no, they couldn't figure. They're like, "Is this real? Is all the answers 67?" Anyway, we talked a little bit about outside about before we got in here about entrepreneurship and things like that. And you'll wonder sometimes in my life as I'm going through the business or even coaching, which you've done a bunch of coaching in your life and been around sports your whole life, played sports. You always focus on the success, right? Like the wins, the losses, the money you made, the deals that went bad, the good deals, right? You always kind of focus on the success. And I saw a great clip about the Alabama football team when they played Notre Dame in the national championship final game. I don't know. It had to have been recently because they've won 2 or 3 championships in the last 5 or 6 years, right? Alabama.
Mm.
And they're beating Alabama's beating Notre Dame 42-14 or 42-20 21 with like 6 minutes left in the game. Alabama's got the ball, and they screw up the snap on somewhat of a meaningless like first down play. And the quarterback and the center just start going at it on the field. They're screaming at each other. Now, the game's over. The game is over. There's 6 minutes left. They're up by 3 or 4 touchdowns. They have the ball. They're driving, and they're screaming and pushing each other. They're fighting on the field, the center and the quarterback. And it just struck me like they don't even care what the score is. All they cared about was executing to that standard that they had established throughout the course of that year. It didn't matter to them that there was 6 minutes left in a game that was long gone. They were going to win and be national champions and go on. Both of them went on to play in the NFL. They had, like it didn't matter to them. They were just pissed that they screwed up a snap. And I thought that's just a great, and you're now in a business, Sleep, and we'll get into it, like where it's an entrepreneurial business, and it's very nouveau, for lack of a novel idea, to use your word as we talked. Like, that's a great message to whoever it is, to my staff here, right? To your staff there, or the people that you're working with. Like, just keep that standard up, regardless of the situation, and strive to the standard. I loved it. I thought it was a great story.
Yeah. I think it's true in life, and everybody wants to strive for perfection, right?
Yep.
And you can't always achieve perfection, but if you're working to get there, you're going to do a lot of good things.
Yeah, and you just have that standard, right?
Yep.
Like, we're not going to accept. That football team was like, we're not accepting stupid mistakes like this, and we don't care where we are in the game. And they never let that standard down. And of course, they won 2 or 3 national champions. And that's Nick Saban, right? He's probably one of the best coaches ever to coach in football at any level. I just thought it was a really cool like clip that I saw, and I think it's something that needs to be out there. Like, live to a standard, no matter the situation, good, bad, or indifferent. No matter the successes or the failures, if you live to that standard, whatever it is, whatever your standard is. My standard's probably a little higher than everybody else's, but that's okay.
It's your podcast, Dan.
Exactly. You're catching on quick. Sleepy's a quick study. I mean, we're going to say this podcast is about you, but it's really about me.
That's why it took me so long to get in here.
I didn't want to listen to it. So, Keith, you got any jokes?
I do.
So this is the segment, Sleeper. We tell some jokes.
All right.
Now, they're not necessarily... This is where we kind of dabble or toe the line as to PG and appropriateness. So, and Keithy tends to lead the way in that. So, Keith, we'll let you
We'll start off slow.
Okay.
It's been a while for us. What do you call a moose with no name?
That's already funny.
Anonymous.
That's good. I like that.
That's cute. That was cute. Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to ramp it up a little bit here.
Okay.
Oh, boy. I don't know. Okay, we'll do this one first. How many people died on the Titanic?
3,013.
A boatload.
Good.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
What do you call a gay dinosaur?
This is where it gets dicey. Something Brontosaurus.
Tyrannosaurus.
There it is. And there it is, everybody.
It was hard to get the jokes today. Hold on, let me see. I was at the bank yesterday. Did I tell you this?
No, you didn't tell me you were at the bank.
And this old lady asked me if I could help her check her balance.
Yeah.
And so I knocked her over.
Oh, Jesus. That's good.
I knew that was coming. I've heard that one.
That
should be good. I mean,
yeah, good there.
Yeah. What do you call an Irish guy wearing a bulletproof vest?
I give up.
Ricochet.
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 So there was a. I want you to put music to that one. That song, Ricochet. You know the song? You know what I'm talking about? Root beer.
Bulletproof.
Yeah, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a little music.
It's
to it.
actually a great movie, Ricochet.
So there's a Indian tribe, and the chief is responsible for naming all of the newborn babies. So one day, one of the Indians comes up and says, "Chief, you know, how do you think of these names for the new babies?" And he says, "Well, when the baby is born, if I see an eagle flying overhead, I name him Eagle flying overhead. And if I see a deer running in the woods, I name him Deer running in the woods." Why are you so interested? Two dogs banging. All right. Okay, let's get into sleeping.
Good stuff.
All right. So we're going to start right at the beginning. Okay? And I'm going to say this, and I've said it in the past. One of my favorite parts of the one of my favorite things of the podcast is I've known you my whole life. 40. I'm 49. You're 57?
59.
59. You got a big one coming up.
Yeah, we're 10 years apart.
10 years. I guess that's math. Yeah. 59 from 49.
Pretty good, Stevie.
Yeah.
Bad, huh?
Yeah. Boston College high school
Yeah,
education right there.
Yeah.
That's how I always measure you. That's Steve-O, because Steve-O's right in the middle.
Oh, he's 5. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's
right.
5, right.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Chucky and I are 5 years apart, too.
Really?
So I kind of like, just kind of take the 5-year intervals right down to 3 of you.
And am I the youngest? No, Shannon. She the only one younger than me?
Matthew Hamilton.
Matthew, that's right. Matthew Hamilton. All right. Well, we start right from the beginning, and my favorite part is, and my favorite thing is, I'm going to learn some stuff about you that I never knew, which is going to be great. So, rather than keep our audience waiting, where were you born?
I was born in Weymouth, Massachusetts.
All right.
South Shore
So
Hospital.
he answered it right, everybody. You passed the first test.
Yeah.
Weymouth, South Shore Hospital.
Everybody is born
Right.
in Eastern Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Pretty much these days. Right?
Yeah. And where were you living at the time? Where did you go back to?
At the actual time of my birth, I think we were in Rockland still.
Okay.
And then we moved to Hanover when I was 6 months old.
And who's we?
My family. So parents.
Yeah.
Older sister, Jonna.
Yeah.
Billy.
Yeah.
Brother. And myself. And Marnie wasn't born at the time.
Okay. So when you moved, and did you go right to 44 Reed Drive?
We went right to 44 Reed Drive, yes.
Okay. And so what year is that?
That was 1966.
1966. And when's Marnie born?
68.
68.
69. I'm sorry, 69.
You're Marnie's brother.
Yes.
I did not know that.
I didn't catch that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I slipped that in there.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So Marnie was. I had dinner. Actually, had dinner with your mother, my mother, Marnie, Therese, a couple other people on Friday night, and they said you got to get the podcast going, and you had reached out to me last week to try to get together, and I said this is perfect. So
they prepped you.
Well, they I wouldn't say they prepped me so much as pushed me to get you to.
I need you to identify the questions that they wanted you to ask before you ask them to me.
This one is from. Yeah. Be careful how you answer them. So you grow up in Hanover your whole life, essentially, all the way through high school, right?
All the way through high school for sure, into college. Pretty much through college age.
And played sports growing up.
Played sports growing up. Yeah.
All of them. Anyone in particular? Like what were
a little bit of football, baseball, basketball, hockey, tennis. A lot of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. Always seemed to be I was either at a game, my own game, my brother's game, a cousin's game, going to a football game that somebody was playing in, going to a gymnastics meet that somebody was performing in.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was a big part of my life growing up. Sports were a big part of your life growing
Absolutely.
up. Did you ever play hockey for my father?
Yeah.
And your father, right?
Absolutely. Your father was a great coach.
My father was?
That was fantastic.
But he couldn't skate.
Neither one of them were hockey players.
Yeah, which
they
is crazy.
read books and coached hockey.
Yeah.
But that's what everybody was doing. It was the Bobby Orr era, right? Everybody just wanted to play hockey all of a sudden.
Yeah, 1970, the Bruins win it, right? And you're just 4 or 5 years old.
Right, exactly.
So there's
Exactly.
and that's so there's a little nudge, right? That gets all of that family into hockey. I mean, you played. Chucky didn't play.
Chucky never played hockey. He was a good football player, though.
Billy played.
Billy played a lot of hockey. Yeah.
Robbie played.
Yeah, a lot of hockey.
Steve-O played.
Yep.
Sean played. I played. Chris Caldwell played. There was there was like a whole wave of, but it didn't start with our parents because they didn't play.
They didn't play, but they were sports nuts too, right?
Yeah.
From a different era, and they loved their kids. They wanted to coach their kids. I think it was more about their own ego, but.
They wanted to. Well, it's crazy now. Like,
but it was great. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And they ran the league. They ended up running Hanover Youth Hockey.
Yeah.
Like my father was the president, your father was the vice president.
Yeah.
And they were killer, right? We had great teams. We were all playing. They were both coaching, sometimes coaching the same team.
Yeah.
A lot of times coaching different teams. I played for your father, and when Robbie and Billy were playing for my father.
Yeah.
So 2 different teams. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun being around those rinks and being around family all the time. But it's amazing now. You think about how hockey is now. Very rarely would you ever have a father who never played hockey, who couldn't skate, coaching. Now, be a very rare situation.
Any sport.
Any sport.
Any sport.
Yeah, any sport, because that becomes nowadays. That's a little bit of the draw. Like, I'm playing for Jimmy Smith. He played in the NHL. And you're like, well, that doesn't mean he's a good coach.
Right.
Right? You had non-hockey guys that were great hockey coaches. Now, they probably could have coached any sport, right? They would have taken those, call it a standard or call it what you want, and they would have brought it over to football and baseball or whatever else they were coaching.
Yeah, and they studied. I mean, they read books. They tried to learn, right?
Yeah.
And they looked terrible on skates. It was a funny thing.
Well, I remember looking at seeing some pictures and looking at my father in the team photo, and he had like a suit on.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Not like a 3-piece suit, not like a hockey suit that I wear in the photos. So, what was your main sport kind of coming
Growing up, it was always hockey.
Was the main sport.
I transitioned from hockey to basketball. Some would say it's a mistake. A lot of people did at the time, and they were probably right. When I went into high school.
Okay.
And then I tried to play basketball at BC High. I tried to make the transition, and it didn't work out. I played into JV, and then that was it.
So take me back a little bit, because I'm always curious. The decision to go to a private school. I went private. Keith went to spent a cup of coffee at BC High, and then went over to CM, where he won 2 or 3 state championships on the hockey side.
Nice.
I went to Thayer, but my story is I didn't want to go to Thayer. I wanted to stay at Hanover High and play hockey with all my buddies, and my life would have been completely different, right? I would have ended up at a different college because I would have gone into Hanover High. I was a good enough hockey player where I would have been impactful. I probably would have pursued hockey beyond high school at maybe a lesser academic school than I ended up at, just to play hockey, right? So it completely, going to Thayer completely changed my trajectory, and I didn't really have a choice. My father was like, you're either going to Milton Academy or you're going to Thayer Academy, and I didn't get into Milton, so that left there. So what was the impetus behind you going to BC High?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting story. You have to remember the times, right? So you were younger than us.
10 years.
10 years.
We,
So
we established that.
Yeah, that's a big gap, right? So when we were, your brother Robbie and Billy and John and all of us were starting to get to high school age, Hanover was a mess. There was a lot of problems going on in Hanover.
Okay.
The high school had become, problematic. I mean, there were stories of kids, motorcycles up and down the hallways.
Oh, really?
Like that. Yeah. It was somewhat risky. In kind of like the mid 70s, like coming out of the 60s, that whole era was very rebellious, right? And so our parents were looking at Hanover High and going, "There's got to be a different way to go here." And we were all good athletes too.
Yep.
But they started to make the decision. Like my sister Joanna went to Notre Dame instead of Hanover High, and that kind of, set the tone. Billy went to Thayer
Yep.
to play hockey.
Yeah.
And then, when it came time for me, you can ask my mother, she'll say it. She's like, they wanted to send Billy to BC High,
Yep.
but they felt like he was at that time of in his life, he was a smallish kid, very timid, very shy. Billy wasn't as outgoing as he is now.
Yeah. And handsome as the days long.
So they sent him to Thayer because it was smaller.
Yeah.
A good hockey program. They sent me to BC High because my mother thought I could take it. That was because it was very competitive.
Yeah.
Like he'll make it there.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that's why we chose BC High. But I wanted to go too.
You wanted to go to BC High. You wanted out.
I wanted to go to BC High. Well, I mean, the tone had been set. The example had been set.
Yeah.
I wasn't even considering Hanover in my own mind. I was
Right.
going to BC High no matter what.
And was it always BC High? Did you look elsewhere? Did you look at Thayer? It was
always BC High.
It was always BC High.
Yeah.
And you wonder the influence of, and maybe your mother could answer this better, but maybe they didn't love Billy's experience at Thayer, and couple that with the girls going to NDA and having a great experience there, right? With the Catholic versus the ISL, like the true private versus the parochial, like maybe there was something there.
No, Billy's experience.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, no, nice, nice. Maybe getting into some politics there, but no, Billy's experience at Thayer was great.
Yeah, he loved it.
He loved it. He flourished.
Yeah.
I mean, they made the right decision. That was the type of school for him.
Yeah.
And I think all parents need to look at their kids differently. If they have different kids, look at them differently and send them to the place that's going to be right for them. And that could be public school.
Yep.
I mean, I sent 2 boys through high school. One went to Cohasset High. It was right for him,
Yep.
given his circumstances and who he was. And he flourished. He had a great 4 years.
And he's doing great now.
And he's doing great now. And my younger son was different,
Yeah.
much different. And, we felt like BC High would be good for him. And it worked out. So
and he's doing great. He's
doing great.
At
He's at
Babson, right?
Bentley,
right?
Bentley.
Which we talked about earlier.
Right. Yep.
Well, I'm living proof of that as well. You're living proof of it. I have 3 kids. They all will end up matriculating at different high schools. Buckingham, Brown, and Nichols was perfect for Annabelle. Rose is at Thayer and absolutely loves it. And Hank is back at Duxbury High and flourishing there. So I think that's you hear of kids just kind of getting forced into go to a school because their brother went there. And your family the same way, right? I mean, at least with you and Craigie, you went to different high schools.
Yeah.
And the girls went to NDA.
All of them did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're living proof of it as well.
I wonder if the Catholic Church have anything to do with it?
No. My father was Protestant.
Okay.
So he had, it really wasn't his priority. And, our mother's, Irish Catholic, but not, they're not
non-practicing.
Non-practicing. They're not in church every week. My mother used to say she went to parochial schools all the way through and she had enough, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So no, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, church wasn't part of my life growing up. Was it part of yours? Other than the holidays, right? You went on Christmas, you went on Easter.
Yep.
But you weren't there. Your family wasn't there every Sunday.
No.
No, they were at a football field or a hockey rink,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That became our church, right?
Yeah.
That's where you really learned the values of life in those rinks and on those fields.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. I mean, team sports, it's proven to really be able to shape, human beings, right? Men and women. In the right ways. Relying on other people.
Being part of something bigger than
trust, there's a lot of being part of something bigger than you. Exactly. Achieving both personal and team goals at the same time is super rewarding. So, I mean, there's other ways to get that, but I don't know if there are any more. I don't know if there's more fun ways to get it. You know what I mean?
So growing up, other than your father, my father, as coaches, is there any like teacher that sticks out in your brain? Is there any other coach where you're like, this man or woman said some things to me and they stuck? By the way, positive or negative, right? Some people come in here and they say this guy was a jerk and it taught me I would never want to treat someone that way. Was there anybody that sticks out? And it could be BC High, it could be beyond.
Yeah, look, I mean, a couple of people, Art Murphy, remember the Murphy family from Hanover?
Were they the cabinet guys?
No, electricians.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Thayer. They had boys probably your age up there. They're running the father's business now.
Yep. Well, no, they were those were cabinet. What was the kid? Brian's Murphy. Anyway, Art Murphy. Let's stay on point here.
Anyways, Art Murphy, he was a neighbor and my like youth basketball coach,
Yeah.
right? And he was the one who told me that I could be a really good basketball player, which put the bug in my ear
Yeah.
that maybe I should be playing basketball instead of hockey. So that really shaped my life.
Yeah. Way to go, Art. You really nailed that one,
At
pal.
the time, it was really positive. Now looking back on it, I'm like, I should have done it. God rest his soul, because he's no longer with us. But but I loved him as a coach. He was fantastic, and it wouldn't have had it wasn't just the words, right? It was the relationship I had developed with him as a player. For him, we played, travel team basketball and, really good teams. And he was just a great guy who, took the time to get to know you as an individual, and also knew how to shape a team together to go out and do really spectacular things for our level.
Yeah.
And so when he said those things, they were really impactful to me, So that's one. And then in high school, I had a Latin teacher of all subjects, right? Mr. Pelletier, who really was helpful to me. My parents went through a divorce while I was in high school.
Yep.
So that was really difficult. My two older siblings were off in college, and it was kind of me and my younger sister Marnie at home.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that kind of fell on myself. So I took all that to school all the time, and it had an impact, a negative impact on my performance at school and my desire and a lot of that. I kind of went off the rails there for a few years.
Yeah.
And he really helped me through that, believe it or not, as a teacher, right? Pulling me aside every day, asking me how I was, really kind of keeping me engaged. And there was even a time where I was saying I'm not going to go to college, and he kind of pushed the issue with me and for me.
Yep.
He did things that I didn't even know he was doing on my behalf that really helped me kind of get to the next level. So that was, I'll never forget that. I've seen him a couple times over the years, and I always give him a big hug, and I'm like, if it wasn't for you, I don't know where I'd be.
Right.
Really, he's one of that kind of impactful people in my life.
And so that he was at BC High.
BC High, yeah.
And you go from, and had some things happen in your life that were negatively impacting you, and you weren't even going to go to college, but you ultimately make the decision to go to college. And where do you decide to go?
So my college career was an interesting one. Want me to just tell the whole story?
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
So put your seatbelt on. I went to college. I went out of high school begrudgingly.
You didn't want to go.
Didn't want to go, but I knew I had to.
Yeah.
It was like I had spent the summer on Martha's Vineyard right out of high school. My sister Joanna was down there.
Yeah.
Mike Tierney, the whole thing.
Well, so what year is this?
1984.
Okay, so I'm only 8. I'm not there.
Yeah, no, you weren't there for sure.
Yeah. Thankfully,
Yeah.
you may never come back.
And me and Mike's little brother, God rest his soul, Chris Tierney, became like this, right?
Yeah, I remember Chris.
And we decided we were going to go to Hawaii, just keep the party going.
Oh, come September.
Come September, we're going. That's the plan.
Okay.
And it was a plan. A lot of people did that.
Yeah.
They either went to Hawaii or they went to the mountains for
Went skiing.
skiing, right? So you get that kind of life, right? And it was my father who ended up, and word had gotten out that that's kind of what I was doing. And my father did call me, says, you got to go to college. I said, I know. And now it's like middle of September. It's like now.
Yeah. Okay.
But I had gotten into BU, and they were waiting for me, so I started late. Again, begrudgingly, mad at the world. Long hair, earring, everybody, giving everybody the stink eye every time. It didn't matter who it was. They weren't going to get anything out of me.
And this was all sort of the buildup of the resentment from the divorce, and
all of it's still happening.
Yeah,
I was 18, 19 years old at this point. It was still, very much real, right? That year didn't go well. I didn't finish high school strong enough to, warrant a dorm room.
Okay.
So I was commuting.
Okay.
And I was at what they called the College of Basic Studies, which basically was for the kids who kind of needed a little extra time.
So a little continuation of high school.
and this was my Latin teacher's doing, right? He got me into BU basically.
Yeah.
With the deal was that I would have to go to that school first.
Yeah.
And of course I didn't like that. And I had friends in the dorm, so it was always kind of a stigma. But I ended up flunking out of freshman year.
Okay.
They didn't invite me back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll never forget the moment at the dinner table with my father was still around. He was still coming around the house. They weren't,
And he was a tough guy.
He was a
God
tough
rest
guy.
his soul.
Yeah,
he
was a
was
tough guy.
he drove a hard bargain.
He took the report card and threw it in my face and said, "You're not getting another dime out of me." And that was it.
Yeah.
But I decided to keep going. I actually decided to keep going. Now I'm going to do it my way. I went to UMass Boston, still commuted. It was a commuter school at the time, and had a great experience. But I was paying for it myself. I was working full time. It was hard.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
I was there for 6 years and didn't finish. I was 9 credits shy when I left because I was broke. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I got to go to work.
So how old are you at this point? Because you got.
I was like 1991.
So do the math for me.
I was like, that would have been 25.
25. Trying to finish up your college degree at UMass Boston. Working full time, doing what?
Painting.
And just kind of slogging up the highway day in and day out, being like, I can't. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and I couldn't really, I couldn't justify it anymore in my own mind. I needed to kind of move on. And they make you take a test. They still do at UMass Boston to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a literacy test. It's a writing exam. So everybody who graduates from UMass Boston has to sit in a room, the old-fashioned way, still today, with the blue book.
Yeah, the blue book. Yeah.
And get asked a question and write a book full of essay about it, right? And they prepare you with the kind of the topics that you're going to be asked a question about. You can choose one, but they don't tell you what the question's going to be.
Okay.
And you have to write a thesis about it. And
what do you get? A couple hours to get it done?
A couple hours to get it done. And when I took it originally, I was still, I was checked out.
Yeah.
And I didn't prepare. And I didn't pass.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I didn't pass that. Now I got to do that again.
Yeah.
And the other 6 credits.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'll deal with this later.
Yeah.
So go on with my life and end up, doing fairly well in life. And then 20 years later, get laid off from my job for the first time in my life.
So, but hold on. Well, you're fast forwarding 20
Still
years.
part of the college story,
Okay,
though.
this is okay. All right.
I'm not switching subjects.
You're gonna circle it back.
Yeah, very quickly. And I decide to go back and finish.
At when you get laid off.
When I get laid off in 2012.
Okay.
So I went back. I finished the credits, took the test, passed, and got my degree
From UMass Boston.
from UMass Boston.
Wow.
And some of the credits was because I agreed to do speaking engagements about my work.
Okay.
I was an economics major with a history minor. I had since then traveled the globe for business, and they invited me in to speak about kind of international travel
At the college.
international business and my experience. Yeah.
So you
It was
went,
kind of an interesting.
that's
twist.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like you went from I don't want to say a college dropout, but someone that didn't finish
You can call it a college
that
dropout.
then came back and was
Yeah.
and then you're a college dropout. Yeah, smoking cigarettes on the corner with your
Pretty
long
much,
hair
yeah, exactly.
Earring.
Yeah.
in your earring, hanging out with Steve-O and Southie. But to someone that had the opportunity to address that kid that's looking back at you in the audience
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, this is the experience that I've had in my life." I think that's amazing. I think you got an amazing opportunity to do that. Not everybody gets that opportunity.
Not everybody gets the opportunity, and not everybody takes the opportunity if they do get it. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people maybe wouldn't have done it 20 years later.
Yeah.
But I I had the opportunity and I took it, and I was happy to do it. And it, to that conversation we had earlier about confidence. I mean, it changed how I think as a person. It changed how I act as a person, because carrying that around. I mean, I got my first kind of real job after I left college, lying.
Yeah. Oh,
Lying.
yeah, tell that story.
Lying about my degree.
Yeah. Didn't, because they said you had it and you didn't have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had to. They wouldn't have given me the job.
What was that
When
job?
You start taking chances in that situation, right? And that's a chance. So it paid off. But
And what was that very first job that you took?
that was a job in the industry which I stayed in for the next 25 years. It was a company that did outsourcing solutions in the insurance space, namely health insurance at the time. They were a spinoff from Prudential Healthcare. And they had a platform-based outsourcing company based out of Louisville, Kentucky, as part of that spinoff that got acquired, and they were looking to kind of grow the business out and take it into different directions.
And you went into the sales?
I went into sales. I covered the Northeast.
Yeah.
And it was great. I was an entrepreneurial-minded person. They liked that and paid me a salary. Well, I was like, well, nobody's ever done that before.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
that's nice. I don't start at zero
and a
every
commission,
year.
right? And then I started looking for, what am I going to buy? I bought my first, house property, that 3-family in Dorchester.
Yeah, which you had. You don't still have that, do you? You've had it for
I
a
do
long.
not. I sold that. You did that.
Yeah, I did that.
transaction.
When was that? That's maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, right around the time I got laid off. That
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. That
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep.
So now, while all this is going on and you enter the workforce, talk a little bit about your personal life. Do you meet a girl? Do you get married? Like, when does all of that sort of happen?
Right at that point. So I think that was like 1999.
Okay.
And so I started that job, and one of my first stops, on my new sales road, I got my sales manager. Let's go out. He takes me up to New Jersey to Prudential, because they were still kind of partnering. Those folks at Prudential used to sell the services that service bureau did. And so we were going back in to, leverage that partnership. And that's where I met my wife, Natalie, in that meeting.
In 1999.
In 1999.
Wow. And
in like one of my first sales calls at that job.
so talk about the nudges in your life. Like, I don't want to harp on it, but if you don't lie on that resume, get that job, you may never meet your wife.
Yeah.
Like, think about, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You think about that.
Yeah.
These little things that happen or that you do, or these moves that you make, the risks that you take, right? Let's not call it a lie. Let's call it a risk. You take a risk, which I'm sure happens, every single day on every single resume that gets submitted, but that leads to a marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Totally changed the trajectory of my life.
And so you're still, where are you living at this time? You're living in Dorchester at that?
Yeah. Well, actually, I was living in Quincy.
Okay.
Right up on, right not far from here. I forget the name of it. It was an Avalon property. I had got myself a nice apartment. I was like, I got a paycheck now. This is great. And just bachelor it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my future. I was looking for properties at the time.
Yep.
But that that started to accelerate, during the course of my relationship with Natalie.
Yeah, so I would say, for me, like, I didn't really get to know you probably till 2005-ish, right? I'm out of law school at that point. And my objective, like, view of you was that you worked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like you were traveling a lot. You were coming back from somewhere or going somewhere every time I saw you. Was that the early part of your professional career?
Yeah, right up until just last year. Actually, even now, I still do a fair amount of travel. But right out of the gate, that first job I took was a travel-based job. So
Yeah.
I started getting on planes on a regular basis. They were headquartered in Kentucky. I was down there, a lot, because it was clients. We used to take clients in there to show them the facility and the people that would be working on their behalf.
Yeah.
And then customers were all over the country. Always had big kind of sales territories, always selling big kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Complex sales processes where many visits, many meetings were required, and a lot of that required, heavy travel.
Got it.
Yep.
And then now, when do you get married?
2000.
2000. Right away.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a short engagement.
I don't think I
Well,
knew.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You know
now,
now.
and now we're 25 years into this thing.
25 years.
Did you just have your 25th?
Yep, July.
Did you do anything special?
No, not really.
Typical O'Connell
We went-
right there. Nope. Woke up and went to Mamma Mia's. Had a great lunch.
No, it was nice. We went to the vineyard. That we go every year to the vineyard, and it's a big friends group. Most
Yeah.
of my friends, right? We go
Yeah.
every year. Kind of a big chill weekend. It started about 20 years ago almost. So we went a little early. We spent some time alone
Okay.
on the vineyard. Natalie, believe it or not, we've been going down there every year for 20 years. She'd never seen the whole island.
Really?
So Mike, my brother-in-law Mike, gave us a Jeep, and we took her up to Aquina, and I took her the whole loop around the island, showed her
Oh,
everything,
that's
Chilmark
fun.
and Menemsha, and
A lot of beautiful areas
a
out
lot of
on
beautiful
that side of the
areas that
island.
people would never even know they're there if you're just going to Oak Bluffs or Eggertown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was nice.
And at some point you moved to Cohasset. When
Yeah.
is that?
That was 2001.
Wow. I mean, talk about it. Just a whirlwind, right? Boom, boom, boom. Right
boom,
into
boom.
God. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
And then so why Cohasset? I have to ask, why Cohasset?
Well, we were living in Dorchester
Yeah.
in a 3-family, and that was good. It was good. Natalie was working at Prudential, and I was doing my thing, working out of the home and then traveling. But she wanted to get into a house.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So we started looking for houses, and I said, we got to move to the South Shore. If we're going to move out of here, we'll move down there. We'll buy a house down there. And my grandfather, who owned the house we ended up buying, his wife had died years before. He was alone. He had Alzheimer's. My father was institutionalizing him. He had taken over the estate, and he wanted to sell the house, and so he sold it to me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. So I bought my grandfather's home.
And was that the one right across from the park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Church Street.
Yeah.
Yep. Small little 2-bedroom Cape. You were in that house.
Yeah.
I think that first year we owned it, we had a party.
Yeah, you had used to have a bunch of parties.
A lot of
out.
parties
Yeah.
in there. Yeah. And it was great, but then the Dorchester property, which was very good for me over the years, I took some money out of there. I developed a piece of land next to it and blew that house up and, did a big addition. We stayed there for 8-9 years.
Yeah.
And then sold that and moved across town to South Main, where I was last.
And you had 2 sons, big difference in ages and difference in path. So walk me through how you end up sending one goes to Cohasset High, and then your younger son ends up at Boston College. So what was did he want to go to Boston College? Did you want to send him to Boston College? Sort of high school, Boston College High School.
Let me just take you through the whole journey, because you said a lot there. You asked a lot there. My oldest son was my wife's son from a previous marriage
Yep.
of hers. So he's my stepson. I started raising him when he was 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
And
now he's married with one child.
he's married with a child. They live right across the street from that original house we lived in, Cohasset, believe it or not. Yes, I'm a grandfather. It'll be a year next month.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So he had a different, to that point in his life, he had a lot went on, right? Let's just put it that way. They had moved a number of times. He went through a lot. And he was finally settled
Yeah.
in Cohasset. We were married. Everything was good, stability in his life. And when it came time to go to high school, it was just like, do we want to, now make another move?
Right.
And, we decided to leave him in Cohasset.
But he had a great had
he
an incredible time at Cohasset.
had a incredible time. Everything worked out well. Played hockey.
Yep.
4 years, captain of the team senior year. Had a great run. So no complaints there. Everything fine. So that's kind of.
What year would he have been playing at Cohasset?
He graduated in 2009.
Okay, so before, because Rockland High used to play against Cohasset, but that was before my time.
Yeah, they had some. They had
battles.
They had battles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had battles.
And Ian was he was a kid who all he wanted to do was play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't play when he was in Pennsylvania at an early age. He played roller hockey.
Yeah.
He just wanted to play hockey.
Yeah. So he didn't pick up hockey till 8, 9, 10 years old?
Basically 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, 9, 10 years old in Dorchester. So, it's like, all right.
Sully.
He wants to play hockey. He's going to play hockey in Dorchester. I'm like, oh, boy, I got to do something. That summer, I sent him to Hingham Rink. There used to be a camp there that they did every year. I forget the name of it.
Hockey Plus?
Hockey Plus.
Yeah. They still do it.
I remember walking in there when I signed him up. I said, he's like 9 years old going on 10. Is it too late?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And someone probably said, yeah, it is. He missed his window.
I know. And that year he ended up being for that whole camp he got most improved.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was like,
and that's the spark that he needed.
It was on, right? And then he really accelerated in high school. He's like one of these so obviously a late bloomer.
Yeah.
All through youth, and then in high school he really kind of turned it on and went. The Lovell camps back then were out of Bridgewater, would drive down himself for all summer long and really put the work in.
Yeah, which you have to do.
To have a really good junior and senior year, and it was really good. So I was really happy for him. Chris, on the other hand, was, he was just right out of the gate a very aggressive kid.
Yeah.
Very busy, very smart, so kind of we were always trying to hold him back, if you will, in a way that didn't stifle him.
Yep.
So it's just one of those kind of kids that, always looking for more. That's always what next, what more, what else, that type of thing. So I knew we were going to have to get him out of Cohasset.
Okay.
And because Cohasset's a very small.
Duxbury's the same way.
Small community. Very
You're in
nice.
your bubble.
But it's total bubble.
Yeah.
He just needed more. And I went to BC High myself, so I knew what, that school could do with someone like that. And so I directed him that way, and it worked out. But we had put him into Catholic grade school. He was at St. Paul's in Hingham.
So he started on the private side early.
He was into it, so he was comfortable with that kind of, that setting too. And
I went to St. Paul's in Hingham.
Did you? Yeah. Great school.
Great school.
Yeah. And we enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. But he liked seeing crosses on the walls and the prayer.
He liked all that.
He was in that mode. You
Yeah.
know? And so sending the BC High was kind of natural, and the train was right there. Now it was so easy to do.
Hey, get on the train. See you later. You want more?
Big consideration right there. We're like, I got to drive you 7 minutes to the train. No problem. I'll get up at 6:30 to do that.
Yeah. Get out. And he's doing great. Like we said, he's at Bentley now. He's going to be a sophomore. Is that right?
He's a junior.
He's
right
a
now.
junior?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Annabelle's a sophomore. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So now, as you go through your professional life, and you have a number of stops along the way, but you end up at Vitek was the previous stop.
My last stop.
Your
before
last
this,
before you are now, and I do have to let you know that your LinkedIn is not updated. Okay, it says you still work at Vitek. Do you technically still work there, or are you?
No. Does it say I still work there?
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that.
You got to take a look at that.
I know I have InnSure as.
Yeah, InnSure is there, and also in your not to call you out, but in your like paragraph about who you are, it has you still at
Vitek.
Interesting. So the other thing I will note, along with you being, my objective view, or 1,000-mile view, whatever you want to call it, of Steve Brandt was, one, you traveled a lot for work, but that you were very successful, right? In sort of that objective, materialistic way, and I don't mean that in a negative fashion, but you had kids going to private schools, you had a beautiful home in Cohasset, right? You had nice cars, you had nice things, right? So that type of success. So I'm watching it, right? And then a year ago, you make a pretty big jump for, no offense, an older guy at 58, 59 years old.
I'm an older guy.
Older guy. That really,
okay.
that really, and I hang out with older guys, right? Because I play a lot of golf. So I hang out with guys that are 60, 65, that are sort of winding down their career. You made a decision, a conscious decision to sort of, I would say, go the other way, right? So talk us through that sort of decision making.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and there's a lot there, right? First, to know I've done entrepreneurial things in my life in the past. I early on in my 20s, I toggled between some entrepreneurial jobs, opportunities, and corporate America type jobs.
Yeah.
And so I'd kind of, I'd always had the bug or the desire to do entrepreneurial things, be a business owner myself. But I was making money in corporate America.
Right.
And I did, 2 long stints at 3 long stints, 2 10 years and 1 5-year stint.
Right.
In corporate America. And that's where I kind of made most of my income. So I've never been afraid to go out and, bet on myself. I guess that's the point. And take risk.
And sales in general is
Right.
betting on yourself,
That's
right?
exactly
Whether you're in a corporate setting or you're selling widgets on the side of the road, you're betting on yourself that you're going to close that deal.
That's great. That's right. And I believe it's a better bet when you're older because you know more, right? Now
Yeah.
there's more experience there.
Yeah.
Corporate America doesn't want to bet on older people
Yeah.
because it doesn't fit their business model. And so, when it came time to leave Vitech, and that was it's kind of a two-way decision. I engineered an exit, but I knew we had to part ways, right?
Yeah. It was time.
And the decision was, do I go find another job where I'm just going to be in the same position of having to part ways, 5 years down the road?
Yeah.
And probably another job where I would be ratcheted down in income level and
Yeah.
seniority because of my age.
Yeah.
Right. So, or would it be better to go out and do something on my own that I can do for as long as I want?
Yep.
And have upstream, upside opportunity that's unlimited. And, the added benefit of doing something that I'm passionate about and has meaning and is helping people.
Yeah.
Which is something that was very attractive to me. So, the opportunity to work at InnSure, where I'm at now, presented itself actually while I was at Vitech. I was on the board. I helped found the company. And that had become a natural pathway for me. My last 2 or 3 years at Vitech, I had that in mind. So I planned the whole thing
Yeah.
Before I made that decision. Sold my house, as you know.
Yeah.
And didn't buy another one, just to kind of give me a little more cushion.
Yeah.
Because it's still risky, still may not work. But I'm investing in myself at the moment, investing in the business through my efforts.
Yep.
And keeping a backstop that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Well, yeah, and I just think what I heard is I'm not slowing down. There's no slowing down, and I'm not looking to retire and go play golf or go fishing. I'm working, and that's what I do. And I think that goes back to the view that I had of you in all those years, right? Like I always saw you as a worker. You never afraid to roll up your sleeves or go on a 2-week trip and fly here and fly there to get the deal done.
Yeah, no question about it. And I don't want to stop. Like I said, I'm older, but I know more. I'm more experienced. And, once you stop things, you just, I don't know. I think,
Yeah.
If you're doing something every day, you've got a little bit more control over what's going to happen in your life, I believe.
Yeah, and I think the human body and the human mind is like a like anything else. You don't use it,
You
it
lose it.
withers
You'll
away.
lose it.
Yeah.
It withers away.
Yeah.
As I sit here now at 49 years old, I could see myself doing real estate deals until they put me in the box.
Yeah.
Right, because it keeps your mind sharp, gives you a reason to get out of bed in the morning, all of those things, right? And I think that's at least part of my mindset, and maybe subconsciously it's part of your mindset. But I think it's also for you in listening to the story all the way back to UMass Boston. It's a little bit of story of survival, right? You just kind of moved on to the next thing to survive, and some were more successful than others, and but you did them because you felt like you had to do them, and maybe this is part of that. Maybe that's the mindset.
I do like being in survival mode, right?
Yeah.
You have that constant fire under your butt to go out and get something done. I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose that. I don't want to get complacent. And I don't want anybody to dictate to me what comes next.
Yeah.
Being not working, that can happen very easily.
Yep.
It may happen from within, like you say, come your mind and your body don't let you do things. And if you're working for somebody else, it can happen quite easily that way.
Right. And all of a sudden they say, we don't need you.
We don't need you anymore.
And now you go, oh my God, what do I do now?
Right. And looking at people who continue to work into older age, I see happier people.
Yeah. I see youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But just, and the hunger, I was just talking about this with my business partner, Chris. Like, we have to hire real estate agents all the time, right? And you want a hungry real estate agent. You don't want one that's made all this money and, because they sold all the big properties and got these big. You want the one that's got 3 kids. They're all in private schools. They got a big house. They got 2 cars. They got a boat. They got a country club membership. You want that guy or woman that has to pay the bills. So they're hungry. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And I think that's survival mode, that hunger is what keeps Steve Brandt going into his, what will be his twilight years of 60 years old.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I know you couldn't have. That's why I have a podcast.
Exactly. And I'm happy to do it. And literally what I'm most happy about in what I do now is it has meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's a business.
So our listeners don't know. So and by the way, we're international, just so you know. We have listeners over in Spain and all kinds of places. So just give the elevator pitch of what InnSure does. We do. Where's it? Spain? Where were they? Italy? We had
Australia. No.
Remember?
We had one international lister, yeah.
Yeah. I forget.
Anyway.
We also have California.
Yeah, we do.
That's international.
That's
some might say.
Bi-coastal.
That's far. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So give the 60-second elevator pitch for InnSure and what you do if you can.
Yeah. I mean, what we're doing. So our vision is insurance markets that work for everybody, and our mission is to close protection gaps and make communities more insurable in the face of the climate crisis that everybody around the globe is really facing. And what that means is, the bottom line, helping communities, helping municipalities, helping towns, cities protect their property and people with insurance, but in a way that, matches and gives them full benefit for their resilience investments, which doesn't happen today. The reason why this is so important is because the insurance markets are failing when it comes to the climate crisis. There's more rates rising, more non-renewals happening, and insurers leaving markets than there should be. Most communities have 50, 60% insurance gaps, believe it or not. And when a storm hits, that falls right onto the people of the community and the towns themselves, which puts those communities at risk of property values failing, tax rates failing, bond markets failing, and the viability of the communities are at grave risk. So we're trying to reimagine how insurance gets done, change the system in a lot of ways to meet the demand, and help society through this issue that we're all facing.
Yeah, and I think the perfect example that you was sort of described to me, and we landed on it together, was the new wall that went in down at Duxbury Beach, right? So that's a resilience tactic that the town used, but that benefit is not flowing to the people in that area. And what I mean by that is, and what you explained to me was, their insurance isn't going from $5,000 a month, $5,000 a year to $4,000 a year because the town put up the wall, even though the studies show that the wall is going to reduce their risk of having a flood. The insurance company doesn't care, right? Or in the worst case scenarios, the insurance company is leaving that area, right? They're not going to insure down Gurnett Road on Bay Ave and Duxbury, regardless of whether that wall's there, which is going to then, and this was the most impactful thing that you said to me, which is going to then affect the property values of those properties, which means the assessments are going to go down, which means the tax basis to the town is going to go down, which is going to affect their bond status and all of that. So it's like, as I'm sitting here listening, as we talked out there, I'm like, well, how does this affect Dan Nigerian, right? That's the natural thought that everybody has. Like, how does this affect me? Okay, well, there's a direct effect, right? My property value is going to go down because, in Duxbury, because this big swath of land in Duxbury is no longer insurable. So that house that was worth $1 million, well, now it's only worth $700,000, and the assessment gets hit, and then the tax rates go, and the tax basis goes down. So that's what I thought was a great example of how InnSure steps in and tries to bridge that gap between, hey, Mr. Insurance Company, they put up this wall that makes this property even more insurable, right? So you should stay in this market. And then also what I thought was great was like, okay, Mr. Town, Mr. Municipality, as you decide what projects to do or not to do, this is another benefit that you could receive from this project to make you more insurable down the road for your tenants.
Yeah, it's great, Dan. You need a job?
I might.
Come work.
If I
come work for us?
If I stay in this podcast room any longer, I might need a job. So with that, Sleepy, thank you very much for coming on. I do think that the resilience that you've showed, not only in your professional career, but to go back and get your degree from UMass Boston, the opportunity that you had to speak there, and your open-mindedness as it relates to different kids' paths that you've raised, is all great information for our listeners out there. I had a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about, but I just feel like we should end here. It's a good ending spot. Thank you to Marnie and Doris for pushing us to get. And I told you, Marnie, when you're listening, that you were going to love the guest. So you have to, because he's your brother. So thank you, Sleepy. I appreciate it.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Dan.
Keith, thank you. As always, Root Beer, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And if anybody needs a nudge, you know where to find me. I'll be here. See ya.
Bye.